Good day, family. Ron Holland here, host of Community Voices on Old School 105.3 and Praise 100.9. Today's program is brought to you by JT's Kia of Rock Hill, 840 North Anderson Road. I am particularly excited about today's interview. I know that perhaps you're all familiar with Uber and Lyft as well as Postmate, but there is a new on-demand service in town, and I am excited about it. I have the founder and CEO of this on-demand service, and I promise you're going to be excited about it as well. I have the pleasure, the distinct honor of introducing you to Marvin Walker. He is the founder and CEO of Day Runner Incorporated, which is an on-demand delivery service designed to address the minimal use of technology, communication, and customer service in the industry through a mobile application. And you know, I had to pull all of that information. So you're going to have to really break that down for us, okay?
All right, roger that.
So thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Before we talk about Day Runner Incorporated, it's my understanding that you were able to give the Harvey B. Gantt Center a $100,000 donation. Talk a little bit about that, because that is really exciting news.
All right, well, you know, I'm a firm believer in order to get, we have to give.
Yeah.
So I went to the Jazzy event, the gala that they have every year, and as I was sitting in the event, you know, being new to Charlotte, only been here about 7 years, but I didn't get out much because I was always driving in my business. So when I went to the Jazzy gala, I mean, it was just put together so well, and then it was, you know, to find out all of the origins, and I ended up looking up at the sponsorship, you know, list, and I saw that Bank of America was the top sponsor. And, you know, definitely happy to see these other major corporations given to our community. But for me, it was like, the major sponsor should be a black-owned business, because this is about our community and our children. And I said, I want that.
Right.
And then I inquired about it, and it kind of started from there, and that's how we got to that point. But in my business, my model is a little different from every other platform that's out there. In as I've been a driver, so I understand the pain points from the driver's perspective as well as the customer. So I created a unique model that's membership based, and you know, for it to be a new platform, I'm an unknown guy, and for the members to really feel the pain points and invest. So I just take a percentage of all of the memberships and I contribute that to different organizations in each city that we're in. And I chose the Harvey Gantt Center here because I used to be a songwriter,
So you can sing?
Well, I can't carry a note in a bucket, but I could write. And I got to find a vocalist to do it. So the arts was, you know, particular for me. And I wanted to do that, you know, whether visual, you know, audio arts or whatever, and so that's why I wanted to do that. But I wanted to get each and every member in my business, you know, familiar with the law of reciprocity by giving. And so that's what that came about.
That is absolutely wonderful, and of course, you know that the Harvey B. Gantt Center is sort of a mecca for cultural and arts, and it is just a wonderful thing for an African American to donate as much as you have. That's an extraordinary thing. Well, how do you actually feel? Tell me about your core in being in the position to actually do that.
Well, you know, it feels great. When I woke up this morning thinking about what the day entails, you know, I remember when I was in high school, teachers said I'd be dead or in jail by the time I was 21. So I didn't make many plans, right? Because I thought the adults knew what they were talking about. So as I'm looking at, you know, I have articles that have been done to me in Black Enterprise, I'm just like, wow. But to be able to do that, I mean, it's a great feeling, especially to contribute to the youth for what they're using the program for. I mean, it's an amazing feeling, but I share it with my master contractors. I tell everybody I get a lot of the credit, but it's not me. It's a bit from all of the people that are in my organization, and so together we give. So I don't want to take all the credit for that.
Absolutely. Now, you are the founder and CEO of Day Runner Incorporated. Tell us a little bit more about your business.
Well, so like I said, I got out of the music industry in 2009, and I was like, now I got to go get a job, and I really never wanted a job. So I was doing some research, and I was listening to this book, audio book, The Millionaire Mind, and it was talking about vocation selection. And he said something that just jumped out at me. He said, look around. Everything here came in on a truck, so why not transportation?
Right, right.
And I said, yeah, why not transportation? So I went out, bought a truck, got a tax ID, and became a business. Got my first contract, and they said, hey, we're going to give you 65%, we're going to keep 35%. Well, coming from the music industry, writing songs, I understand splits.
Right.
So, and when you're talking splits, there's a starting number, and then we decide what we split. And so when I got into the office, they said, I said, well, let me see the contract that states if you're giving, me 65%, this is what you're charging the customer, you get 35. So we see that these numbers add up. And they said, no, we don't do that. And I said, what? So what kind of business is this? But then also in business, my definition of a business is something that pays you money, whether you're sleeping, whether I'm vacationing, or whatever. And I found that getting into independent contractor work, you really just created a job for yourself. At the time, I couldn't do nothing about it, but technology, over the time makes it possible to where, I could change it. And I just stepped out on faith and, developed the app to do so and create a situation that gives individuals the ability to grow into a business, and so that they could, achieve financial freedom as well.
Now, are you in competition with Uber and Lyft? Tell us a little bit about that. How does that work?
Well, Uber and Lyft delivers people. We deliver packages, furniture, whatever a customer needs. So we're in the courier space. They're in the, taxi space.
Right.
So, we deliver anything from packages for law firms. If they have something that needs to go to courthouse, we'll go get it. So all our drivers are OSHA and HIPAA certified. So they understand privacy and things of those nature. So they go and pick up packages.
Now, it was my understanding that you have about 4,000 employees around the country, but you're now approaching 5,000 employees.
Yeah. So we did the official launch in August, and in that time we've amassed 45 to 5,200 contractors that partner with our platform because they see the value in what we're bringing. So yes, we're growing pretty rapidly.
Now talk about the training that's required to become a part of your team.
So from the contractor's perspective, we try to source individuals who already was in the field and understand. And again, we make sure that they're HIPAA certified, OSHA certified, to handle special products like blood that we transport for the American Red Cross. And so just making sure that they have the training, but then also making sure all of their motor carrier information is up to date, depending on the vehicle size they have. So we have our compliance officer that just, based on what they're going to be transported, to make sure all of our drivers are compliant.
Now, you did indicate that this is a membership fee that folks have to pay. Talk a little bit about that. Go into the intricacies of that and how it works.
So again, being a driver for the last 9, almost 10 years, I was at a crossroad where I was like, okay, do I create a platform and let all these people work for me? Or do I create a platform where they could take ownership and make it their own and grow their business? So again, I wanted to empower people to accomplish some sense of financial freedom by having a true sense of the word when it comes to a business. So I created a membership platform that gives drivers, based on their membership level, the ability to grow. So other platforms, you come in, if you work, you make money. If you don't work, you don't make any money.
Right.
The Day Runner platform, you could come in if you're financially challenged and start off at that level, but then you move up. We have a gold package, a platinum package, and a master contractor package. And the master contractor package is the one that gives you passive income, like a business. The way it is now, it's like the most grotesque misclassification of you being called a business, right? I just felt like I was bamboozled. Like, you're calling me a business, but by the time I minus all my expenses and pay myself, I'm making about $8 to $12 an hour.
You an employee?
Yeah. So, my membership gives drivers the ability to maintain their independence, but also grow in a level to where they could create passive income. And that's the difference. We give them the support that they need, whether, they need gas money to operate, because life happens. Every pain point that I put in my business model, I've experienced. I've had to borrow money because, I was cash strapped. If my vehicle broke down and I was partnering with a company where we were providing service and I was helping this company maintain this customer, it made no sense to me that when my vehicle broke down, that they would just discard me like rubbish and bringing someone else in my position when I've helped you maintain this customer. So we address all of those pain points, but the most important one is we give drivers the ability to make money whether they're working or whether they're not.
Now, what I'm excited about is the app that you have.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, because some apps, you know, can be very challenging to navigate. How is yours? You would talk a little bit about the ease of use for your app.
All right. Well, when I was in the Marine Corps, they had this term, the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Right.
And I was not always technologically savvy. So I wanted to make sure that when people go on the platform, you know, it's pretty it's easy to navigate through. So, you know, the drivers, you know, they log into the app, they go online, they go offline. The customer picks up the app, and based on what they're shipping, they select the vehicle type that they need based on the size of the items that they're shipping. They see the price point when they click on the vehicle that they need, so they have transparent pricing. They know right away what they're going to be charged at the end of the delivery.
So there's no flat fee or no surcharges or anything like that?
No, we don't have all of those surcharges. Like, you know, I don't like to be surprised, so I'm not trying to surprise anyone.
Right.
You need to know up front what you're being charged. And so it's just so simple because, you know, you have all of the information right there. So transparency is one of the biggest things about my company that I wanted to have, both for the customer, but also for our partner drivers.
Okay. Now, was there sort of a serendipitous moment for you that sort of made everything come to a screeching halt, and you had to decide, this is what I'm actually going to do?
Yeah. You know, it wasn't something that I planned. I never thought about developing an app, but I was making my services available through another company using this same business model, but just off of my head. You know, I was hiring other contractors, and the guy hired me to come work in his company and allowed me the opportunity to keep my business. And I just said, wow, how fortunate am I? This guy sees my potential. And so I took the job, moved to Atlanta to build his company, and he promised me a contract. And, you know, again, at the time, I think I was making $500,000 a year with him. And then he approached me, so I extended the trust to him. And when I went down to Atlanta, grew his business, the way he said he would. He had promised me profit sharing and certain things, and then he didn't give it to me. He ceremoniously removed me from the company, gave somebody the position he gave me, and then slowly, one by one, started pulling my accounts from me. And that's when the reality hit, and I said, oh, I have to do something. I have to do something quick, because I'm about to be, you know, having bad credit again, you know, because I have all these assets that I purchased to service these accounts. And it hit me, I have no control. And it was the scariest moment of my life. And, you know, I made the decision. I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to empty out my retirement, and I'm going to build a platform, because, again, I knew what the customers' pain points were. Like, in one of my accounts, you know, as a driver, you're out there, your vehicle gets hit, you know, it breaks down. You have no control over when these things are going to happen. But the customer, they need you to be able to rebound rather quickly and get that product picked up and delivered. And so I said, you know, I need an app that functions like Uber, but it's in the delivery space. And I just started looking for developers, and that's how it came together. So I had my back up against the wall, and that was the serendipitous moment that made me say, I got to do something.
Now, in terms of competition, how do you fare with that? What is like sort of the distinguishing characteristics between what you're doing and what your competition is doing?
Yeah, you have competition, but then you don't have competition. For me, I think that because my business model addresses the pain points of the drivers, I really don't think there's no competition. In order to compete with my business model as it grows, companies are going to have to change their model. They're going to have to be transparent with the driver. They're going to have to say, hey, this is what we're charging. So people do the same thing, but I don't think we're in competition. You know, and it's for that reason, because my business model is different. You know, people innately want what's best for them. I created my model when I created it for me. These are the things that I wanted, and it just so happened that it appeased the needs of other individuals. So they come to my platform. The reason we're experiencing explosive growth the way that we are is because it's the best situation for the driver. Nothing moves without the drivers. Like, we literally drive this economy, but companies are not paying you and treating you like the business that you're classified to be.
Now, we only have a few more minutes, but I do want to explore one other area, and that is not only are you providing a service to your customers, but you're also giving folks an opportunity to become entrepreneurs. How do you feel about that? What does that drive you at all?
Well, yeah, that's the most exciting part, because what I see is people are being forced into business because everybody's going to independent contractors so that they could absolve themselves from the liabilities that come with it. So what we have is people being thrust into a business ownership position and not quite understanding it. So aside from giving them an opportunity to get into business, we have a training course in the back end of our portal that educates these individuals on how to be a business. And that's the greatest part about my business that I'm excited about, is that we're making people better individuals, better people personally for themselves, but then also better business owners and understanding the landscape of that. So
now, there are many, many, many challenges to being a Black-owned business. Talk a little bit about that as we close out.
All right, so the biggest challenge that I feel like I've experienced is when you create something like what I've done, you have to be very careful and understand the business and not get your stuff stolen from you. The biggest challenge for me is, one, trying to raise capital, convince our community to invest in themselves. The misconception when drivers first come to my platform is that, hey, I'm paying a membership, I'm paying you to work. No, you're paying to get benefits that help you sustain your business. So I got to educate our community first. And then the other part of it that was, it's a challenge every day, is when you encounter individuals that want to participate or be a part of your business because they see the potential, you have to know your stuff or you could lose it. And I've experienced two situations where individuals tried to prey on my ignorance and take the business from me. So I've had to have a really short learning curve and finding out different parts of growing a business that could potentially be this big.
So what's on the landscape for Day Runner? Looking out 5 years from now, where do you want to be?
5 years from now, I would like to be acquired by a major company, either Walmart or Amazon, and run the company, but take this thing global, not just be in the United States, but to be a global brand. So that's what I'm looking
So is that the original part of your plan, is to actually be acquired, or is it something that you kind of grew into, knowing that, bigger, there's a lot of money out there to be able to achieve your dream?
No, actually, my plan was to grow my business and have 1,000 drivers, right? That I made $100 a week off of, and it kind of ballooned into this. And once I had investors approach me, then I started having to learn about convertible notes, being acquired, going public. So I've been learning these things, and at this moment, it makes the best sense to be acquired and make these opportunities available to people globally.
That is extraordinary. If folks are interested in utilizing your service or perhaps even becoming a driver, how can they reach you?
Well, if they're interested, they visit us at dayrunnerapp.com. Click to join as a driver, and you'll be navigated on how to do so. And if they're interested in using our service as a corporation or an individual, log on to dayrunnerapp.com as well, and send us an email at info@dayrunnerapp.com if you'd like information, or you could just download the app and start using it right away.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Walker, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, for more information about Day Runner Incorporated, you can log on to our website, oldschool1053.com and praisecharlotte.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk with you next week.